country.
What on earth do you do there?
Well, when one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring.
And who are these people you amuse?
Oh, neighbours.
Got nice neighbours in your part of Shropshire?
Oh, they are perfectly horrid. I never speak to one of them.
How immensely you must amuse them.
Oh, why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who is coming for tea?
Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolen?
How perfectly delightful.
Yes, that is all very well, but I'm afraid my Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolen is perfectly disgraceful. It is almost as bad as the way Gwendolen flirts with you.
Oh, I'm in love with Gwendolen. I've come up to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you would come up for pleasure. I call that business.
Oh, how utterly unromantic you are.
I really don't see anything romantic in proposing. It is perfectly romantic to be in love, but there is nothing romantic about a definite proposal. Please don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. They are ordered specially for Augusta.
Is it all the time?
That is quite a different matter. She is my aunt. Have some of the bread and butter. The bread and butter is for Gwendolen. Gwendolen is devoted to bread and butter.
I'm very good bread and butter, it is too.
My dear fellow, you need not eat it as if you're going to eat it all. Fellow, Gwendolen is my first cousin, and before I allow you to marry her, you will have to clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? I don't know anyone of the name of Cecily, Algy. What on earth do you mean by Cecily?
Now that I look upon the inscription inside, I find that the thing isn't yours after all.
Of course it's mine. You've seen me with it 100 times. And you have no right whatsoever to read what is written inside. It's a very ungentlemanly thing to read, a private cigarette case.
Oh, it is absurd to have a hard and fast rule about what one should read and what one shouldn't. More than half of modern culture depends on what one shouldn't read.
I'm quite aware of the fact, but I do not propose to discuss modern culture. It is not the sort of thing one should talk of in private. I simply want my cigarette case back.
Yes, but this isn't your cigarette case. This cigarette case is a present from someone of the name of Cecily, and you said you didn't know anyone of that name.
Well, if you have to know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Oh yes, charming old lady she is too. Lives at Tunbridge Wells. Just give it back to me, Algy.
But if she is your aunt and lives at Tunbridge Wells, why does she call herself Little Cecily?
Old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a little boy, left me in his will guardian to his granddaughter Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who calls me uncle through motives of respect you could not possibly appreciate, lives in my house in the country under the watch of her admirable governess, Miss Prism.
Where is that place in the country, by the way?
Oh, that is nothing to you, dear boy. You aren't going to be invited. I will tell you quite candidly, though the place is not in Shropshire.
I suspected that, my dear fellow. I have bum-breed all over Shropshire on 2 separate occasions.
Oh, well then, darling, I must get christened, I mean. I must get married. At once, there is no time to be lost.
Married, Mr. Worthing?
Well, yes, of course. You know I love you, and you led me to believe you weren't entirely indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you haven't proposed to me yet. Nothing at all has been mentioned about marriage. The subject hasn't even been touched upon.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I would certainly advise you to do so. And to spare you any possible disappointment, I feel it only fair to tell you, quite frankly beforehand, that I am fully determined to accept you.
Oh, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. How long you've been about it. I'm afraid you have had very little experience in how to propose.
Oh, my own one, I've never loved anyone but you.
Uncle Jack, if you refuse to shake your brother's hand, I will never forgive you.
Never forgive me?
Never, never, never.
Well, this is the last time I shall ever do it.
It is pleasant, is it not, to see so perfect a reconciliation. I think we might lead the 2 brothers together.
Cecily, you will come with us.
Certainly, Miss Prism. My little task of reconciliation is over.
You have done a beautiful action today, dear child.
Yes. We must not be premature in our judgments.
You young scoundrel, Algy, you are to leave at once. I don't allow any bunburying here. Gwendolen, Cecily, it pains me greatly to be forced to speak the truth to you. In fact, it's the first time in my life I've ever been reduced to such a painful position. However, I must tell you quite frankly, I have no brother, Ernest. I don't have a brother. I've never had a brother. I want to marry her, that is all.
Well, I simply wanted to be engaged to Cecily. I adore her.
I see no possible chance of your union with Miss Cardew.
I don't see much likelihood, Jack, of your and Miss Fairfax being united.
Oh, well, that is no business of yours.
If it was my business, I wouldn't talk about it. It is very vulgar to talk about one's business.
And we can't both be christened, Ernest. It is absurd. And besides, I think it is highly probable I never was christened.
This dignified silence seems to produce an unpleasant effect.
A most distasteful one.
But we will not be the first to speak.
Certainly not.
Mr. Worthing. Their explanations seem quite satisfactory, especially Mr. Worthing's. That seems to have the stamp of truth upon it.
I am more than content with what Mr. Moncrief said. His voice alone inspires one with absolute credulity.
Then do you think we should forgive them?
Yes, I mean, no.
True. There are principles at stake that one cannot surrender. Which of us should be the one to tell them? The task is not a pleasant one.
Could we not both speak at the same time?
An excellent idea. I nearly always speak at the same time as other people. Will you take the time from me?
Certainly.
Your Christian names are still an insuperable barrier. That is all.
Our Christian names? Is that all? But we are going to be christened this afternoon.
For my sake, you would do this terrible thing.
I am.
To please me, you are willing to face this fearful ordeal.
I am.
How absurd to talk of the equality of the sexes. Where men are concerned, in matters of self-sacrifice, they are infinitely beyond us.
We are.
Oh, my dear Lady Bracknell, the decision is entirely in your own hands. As soon as you consent to my marriage with Gwendolen, I will gladly consent to your nephew's alliance with my ward.
You must be aware, sir, that what you propose is quite out of the question.
Well, then a passionate celibacy is all any of us can look forward to.
That is not the destiny I propose for Gwendolen. Algernon, of course, may choose for himself.
Ernest, my own Ernest. I knew from the first you could have no other name.
Oh, Gwendolen, it is a great trouble for a man to find out his whole life he's been speaking nothing but the truth. Can you possibly forgive me?
I can, for I feel you are sure to change.
Letitia!
Cecily, at last!
Last.
My nephew, you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
Or on the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I now finally understand the vital importance of being earnest.